salutations. This is YNB Collins. I'm joined with
Brother Wolf here.
We are the Benchmark Podcast. We try to do critical thinking, life experience, put it together, and come up with a really good outcome, hopefully for you and for us. And we're going to talk a little bit of football today. One, because the Saints did well and go home team, and more importantly, YouTube comments.
Yeah.
So the Saints shellacked the
They
Dallas
put
Cowboys.
the hurt on, I guess, we them boys.
Hold on. It was so bad that I have to go ahead and read some YouTube comments. Week 2 of the NFL season of 2024 to 2025. This is a YouTube comment from at BDN67. Cowboys must have thought this was a playoff game. And the other one that had me laughing was at Hunter Trump 3658. The Saints are brilliant for scheduling Carolina 2 weeks in a row. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is, one, it gets a chance to make fun of Rain Dakota, and you know that's just one of my favorite things to do. But also, I want to talk about quarterback play, quarterback reads, and expectation, especially in a job, because that's one thing that people forget, that at the end of the day, this is your employment if you are an NFL player.
Right. This is your livelihood. I definitely appreciate us starting this off light, because I think the mood is about to change. But we have to remember, at the end of the day, this is how people take care of their families, and it can end. Every game can end very well or very bad, and it's just based off of a few decisions that could have gone one way or another.
So for those of you who aren't aware, or you might be visiting this on the back end and not remember, week 2, there was a Thursday night game between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Third quarter, the Dolphins are losing. The game is damn near put away. And Tua, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name because I'm just going to mess it up. So Tua, quarterback for the Dolphins, Tagovailoa, I believe is how it's pronounced. But,
yeah, his last name, yeah.
But he just threw a pick six. So he's trying to drive, trying to go ahead and get his team back into it. They've made progress. They are in the red zone now, and they now have the chance to do something. Tua's receivers are covered. He says, you know what? I can make this play with my feet. And he starts running. Me and my brother went back and forth about a few certain things. So let's make a few things clear. Number one, the game was practically out of reach. The score was 31-10 with less than 5 minutes left in the third quarter. You had to get 3 touchdowns to go ahead and do this. Can you make 3 touchdowns in a quarter of play? And if you quarter in a chunk of change, and if you believe Josh Allen is as good as everybody says he is, then you don't believe that's the case. I don't.
I don't anymore.
But I don't believe that's the case. Also, I do believe that there are 3 levels of teams: gatekeeping teams, top tier, and poo. And the Dolphins are a gatekeeping team because they can win games, but not against the teams that matter. And at this point, Tua realizes, okay, I got to do something with my feet. I'm going to go ahead and run. And this is an argument my brother and I had, and I was like, the first thing you should do on every play is know where the first down marker is or isn't, whether if you got to go get actually score and get into the end zone or not. And at this point, the first down marker was at the 9, give or take the 9, like the 9 and less than the 9.5, you know, right. Not quite, but definitely not the 10-yard line. And Tua takes off running. And it's such a poor decision in my mind because Tua has the decision to break left, break right, stop immediately. And instead, Tua decides to drop his shoulder and runs his helmet clean into Damar's helmet.
He did one thing a quarterback should never do. He put his head down.
He ran into Damar Hamlin's chest, And DeMar Hamlin, to his credit, wasn't going for the hit. Tua fucked himself up, and DeMar Hamlin was obviously going for the wrap just to hold him and just hold the play. We had to go ahead and look up a few things, so intern did some work, went on Pro Football Reference, I believe it is. The link will be in the description. But I looked up the prospective players' weights and heights. Tua is, hold on. Tua is 6'1", 225 pounds. DeMar Hamlin is 6 foot, 200. So Tua should have the advantage.
Right. Tua is a bigger guy. He, in some instances, you would think with him having the momentum that he would be able to carry it through.
My concern was Tua's not a running back.
No.
You have more game to play. You have more season to play. You don't have to take the hit. And if we consider Pat Mahomes the best quarterback in the NFL, when he scrambles, he's already out of bounds. He's holding the ball ahead of him for an extra yard or two, but he's not looking to take that hit.
No.
There's no point for it. There's no reason for it.
I would think out of almost every quarterback that I could think of in my head, and I'm going through my mental Rolodex of looking at right now about 50-something quarterbacks, and I think Mahomes is probably one of the better ones at finding a way to avoid that hit.
Yeah.
I think he might be the best.
I always have a soft spot in my heart for Fran Tarkenton because he's quote-unquote the man who invented scrambling. But scrambling behind
It's
the
an
line of
art
scrimmage
in and of itself.
to go ahead and make sure the ball gets thrown downfield, not just scrambling for yards. So that's a point of contention. But why are we talking about Tua right now? Because Tua got a concussion. And
Third concussion in 800 days.
incorrect.
Huh.
Third known concussion in
in
800 days. If you've known anybody who plays football, and I've said before, rest in peace, Sherm, I have actually been a football coach. You see some vicious hits. Crack blocks, I can't fucking stand. That is the epitome of don't do that. You know what I mean? If you do a crack block, you should be slapped in the face with a chair because you're trying to hurt somebody. There's a difference between a good, clean hit and trying to do something wrong. You're trying to blindside somebody. Like, I'll tell you right now, Warren Sapp was wrong and right for what he did. He knocked the hell out that man when the play wasn't. But you got to defend yourself. So it's a column A, column B thing. Why does this matter to you? Why does this matter to me? Because what was Tua trying to do? Trying to rally his team and trying to do everything he could to go ahead and do it. His expectation was, if I can perform like Boxer in Animal Farm, one of my favorite characters of all time, if I can do just a little bit more, maybe that'll inspire the team and maybe we can come back. And what did he do? He got himself hurt, and now his livelihood is at question. He might not be able to play in the pros anymore because they're like, we can't put you in the game. Like, legally speaking, that's just a bad move.
I mean, what if he goes back out there and the next hit he takes kills him?
Don't say that.
I hate to say that.
Don't say that. Like, I don't want to jinx it,
but that's the reason why you can't put him back out there. To be honest with you,
because he's already shown he's susceptible.
So that's why you can't. The NFL cannot let this man play football again. He wants to play. He's doing his best, but in all honesty, they can't. There's too much negative publicity already tied with concussions in the NFL. They cannot do this.
As someone whose favorite team is the '85 Bears, hearing some of the stories about McMahon, number 9, how his wife and caretaker has found him trying to use a shaving razor as a toothbrush because he's that far out of it. And he could not tell the difference because he was that far gone. I forgot, I think the name of the term is fencing, when your fingers start convulsing and doing that. Tua did that again. And I didn't look it up, so that's my fault. But number 92 for the Bills was pointing down like, this man needs assistance. It wasn't my opponent. this man. He had his humanity about him to say, look at what he's doing. Name the part of this that is anywhere correct, normal, or appropriate to you. And why this matters to you and why this matters to me is this. Tua did so much to try to go ahead and bring things in, and now he's at risk. So my question to you is this. What about your job? What is being asked and expected of you at your job that is not appropriate for the pay that you probably are getting? And that's why I bring this up, because it really hurt my soul to see the man wants to just play football and be good at it. And I cannot fault you for doing that. But I can fault you for saying you have put your health on the line, your long-term health. If you've ever tried to watch Earl Campbell walk, that is one of the saddest things to watch right now. Because that man, who was a beast of a human being, you could see the physical agony of him trying to walk. And that's not cool. So I go ahead and tell my brother right now, he's had to deal with young jackasses coming into his store and trying to rob it. What happens when the next one comes with a gun? And I'm asking you now that we're recording. We're not live, but what do you do at that point? What if no matter what you do, he just pulls that however many pounds of pressure to pull that trigger? I don't want to go to a funeral. I don't.
Yeah.
Simultaneously,
You don't have exactly a safe job yourself, brother.
Yeah, I'm about to say, look, I'm not the one. I tell everybody. Last night, I have to go ahead and give myself a little bit of credit. I said, I want to go out drinking, but I'm not going to go driving. So will you go ahead and be my DD? No? Then I'm not drinking. You know? If you go ahead and do all your boss's work, should you get paid a little bit more money? Probably. That's why I'm bringing this up. I want people to go ahead and know their worth. There's somebody I know who's a line cook who is possibly going to be a sous chef and is working at a place where, well, this is how we've always done it. And even though how they've always done it is nowhere near code, nowhere near appropriate. And the question I have is, if you think that's appropriate, remind me never to go by your house. You's a nasty motherfucker. So I'm sorry to go ahead and get just unnecessarily heavy, but there's a difference between value and worth. And I've been talking about, we're going to get to it, but we're going to get to the self-deletion episode that's coming up soon. But know your worth. Understand that you can go ahead and remove deleterious things from your life, whether it be people, jobs, living situation, whatever it is. You have the power to change most of it, yet you choose not to. So who's the idiot?
Really makes you think.
And that's why I said, like, I'm looking at this man on the field. He don't know where he is. He don't know where he is. And what are we doing? Well, that's what he was supposed to do. Put his health on the line for a fucking game? Everybody who says yes, I need you to get your fat ass out there. I really need you to do that.
I mean, a lot of the football players that announce, and you know this, most of the players that leave the game eventually, they become commentators or they become announcers on the game. And a lot of them were saying the same thing, resounding over it. He needs to think about the legacy he's going to leave after he leaves the game. That's what he needs to really have the thought in his head is, what legacy am I going to leave to the world after football is over?
I don't know. I'm not even because, like I said, my brother just checked the hell out of me. You work security and you go ahead and you are a bartender. What happens if somebody comes back because they felt slighted and they want to go ahead and escalate to the next level? What do I do? Hope for the best option? You tell me the part where that even begins to sound correct. And I mean, I got love for people. I really do. Even though I know I can be a jackass, I know I can be very stoic and cold, but I'm trying to protect myself from a world that owes me nothing and will chew me up and spit me out. But at the same time, I've had some great things that I call this man my brother when we have no blood relation whatsoever. He's entrusted me to take care of his children. If something would happen, I'm godfather to multiple of his kids. I look forward to communicating with him. How childish is it of me to put myself in a bad situation when I know better?
Correct.
And I'm asking this of my listening audience as well. When's the last time you did something that was truly positive as opposed to just putting more ketchup on them damn fries? I don't know, man. Like, it's up to you to choose to do better, but Tua, you want to win, but at what cost? Your body? Somebody else's body? Everybody? Anybody? Somebody? Nobody? What does it take to get there? And I have to say, yeah, you never know if you don't try, but simultaneously, if you can't get to tomorrow, it don't matter. What you got to add, brother? Because at this point, I know I'm rambling and people have things they got to do, whether it be a lunch break or if you like Shannon, you got to go ahead and mess up your Instagram live.
But the only thing I was thinking in my head is sometimes, in the words of John Stark, you got to take a knee. You got to realize, there are other things in life that are bigger than you. Sometimes the only team that you don't have, sometimes the team that you have in front of you is not the only team that you have to take care of.
And it's not the only team you're playing for.
Right.
Yeah. So, sorry to go ahead and be hot and heavy, but this is one of those where the obvious correlation was there, and if nobody else saw it, I'm hoping I educated somebody tonight to say, man, maybe I don't need this extra burger. Maybe I don't need this extra beer. Maybe I don't need to go ahead and look for a fight tonight, because what if I find the wrong one on the right day or the right one on the wrong day? However you want to call it, you're outmatched. So, love y'all. Please make good choices. And this is Y&B Collins, and I'm joined with
Brother Wolf.
We're the Benchmark Podcast, and we're trying to go ahead and make sure you realize your expectations are in line with your health and your reality. Love y'all. Be safe. Thank you for listening to the Benchmark Podcast, a product of Benchmark Media, LLC. We would like to remind our listeners that the views and opinions expressed are strictly the views and opinions of each individual and does not reflect the stance of Benchmark Media. Any opinion stated is not to be construed as professional advice or help. Our intro and outro music
we are
is
wearing
Acid
pants.
Trumpet by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons. Contact us at therealbenchmarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you, Kevin.
Or our website, www.therealbenchmarkpodcast.com.
Yes.
Donate to us, paypal.me/benchmarkmediallc,
Please.
or the Cash App, $TheRealBenchmark. Thank you very much.
Okay, you can buy him a drink on this one.
Just this one?